This is episode 35 of On the DOT, your go-to source for information about the Indiana Department of Transportation. Every month we take you on a deep dive into the inner workings of the agency and answer your burning questions about roads, bridges, and everything in between. On this month's edition, our statewide public relations team is taking over. April 17th through the 21st is Work Zone Safety Awareness Week nationally, and all over the state we'll be doing all kinds of things to bring awareness to the dangers that workers face and what you can do to make a difference. So without further ado, I'm just going to turn it over to you guys. It's a podcast takeover, and I don't know. I'm in the dark. It's the first time in forever that I don't have a plan for the podcast because it's not my episode. So without further ado, I guess, I don't know. I'm rambling again. You guys take it from here.
We can probably start with some introductions.
Yeah. So I'm on here today, Natalie Garrett, Strategic Communications Director for INDOT.
I'm Hunter Petroviak. I'm the Public Relations Director for the Northeast District, which is up in the Fort Wayne area.
And I am Gary Bryan, Public Relations Director here for the Southwest District. So yeah, I work with Jason every day. We're down here in the Southwest portion.
And I'm Megan DeLucine, Public Relations Director for INDOT Crawfordsville District, or the West Central region. So we're pretty spread out here, guys.
We really are.
We've got a good representation here. So National Work Zone Awareness Week coming up soon. In a lot of ways, I like to joke anyway that it's kind of like our Super Bowl. It's our kickoff to construction season. It's a time that we remind the traveling public and also our industry partners how important work zone safety is. So wanted to share today kind of the importance of the week as well as what we have planned around the state. So yeah.
I'll go off of that and say this because I know Jason will appreciate it. It's not so much the Super Bowl as it is the Daytona 500 because you got the biggest event at the beginning of the season. So that's how I would say it anyways.
Yes. Sorry, last drop in, I promise.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. So what can we expect across the state?
So I guess I'll lead off with that because I was kind of the one helping to coordinate all this. So one of the things that we're working on in the group is putting together a visual aspect, a video aspect for Work Zone Awareness Week. So it's one of the tasks that I've kind of done here in the district where, we're trying to give people an eye out in our work zones. Typically you just drive by them, doing speed limit and whatnot, and you don't see a lot of what's going on. So my hope anyway with putting together videos is to kind of help show people what, our workers deal with. This is their work zone. This is where they work every day. And, one of the things that I've learned by helping to put these videos out is, not necessarily everybody's doing the speed limits. Not everybody's paying attention to the roads as much as they should be. One of the cool things that we're doing this time around is working with the Indiana State Police. I know myself and some of the other PRDs have worked with their respective state police folks and kind of given us a chance to see, what's actually going on. So, people speeding, people not paying attention. When you take the number that I've heard, and that was incredible to me, was, you look down at your phone for 4 seconds, that's 400 feet that you're traveling through a work zone, not paying attention, or basically a football field. So that's definitely something we want to make sure that people see, understand, because, you drive through a work zone, maybe you're thinking it's not that big of a deal, but it really is. So that's the important part here. So that's my hope anyways, getting the visual out there, giving something that's impactful to people to be able to understand that, hey, this is a big deal.
Yeah, and like a lot of the times, I think that sometimes we get a look at the construction part of transportation that the public doesn't. So they don't get to be in those work zones and see how close those cars come or the semis come. So giving them that perspective, I think, is really important. And then our coworker Kylie was working with ISP. Do you guys remember how fast the trooper clocked the goose? Do we remember?
Wasn't it like 13 or
Yeah.
something?
13 miles per hour, I
So we
believe.
have speeding geese.
Oh, I'd say the geese are going under the speed limit. They're paying attention.
But for a goose, I don't know.
Yeah. But I will say, they also clocked some trucks going quite a lot
I know, that
over.
was crazy.
Yeah, and that was something I experienced over here too, and it's a pretty, slow area to begin with, but trucks are still doing 10, 20 over the speed limit. Not just trucks, but, cars as well.
Yeah.
I think also with the week, through kind of piggybacking off the whole visual or video representation, it's nice to have this week to kind of highlight the work zones, and really kind of humanizing them, right? Because I know that we send out press releases and we post about, projects, hey, the lane closures, hey, this road closed. And, people get pretty annoyed, but I think it's nice to, like I said, humanize it, because, it's people working in those zones are somebody's relative, their, brother, sister, mom, dad. And I think we forget that a lot of the times as, traveling public, and just think about the annoyance of, being impacted while driving through somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it's we talk and preach about work zone safety year round, not just this week. It's important year round. We want everyone going home safe at the end of the day, whether it's highway crews or the traveling public. Believe it or not, it's actually the majority of work zone crashes involve drivers and passengers that are traveling through work zones, more so than the crews that are out working on the roads. But at the end of the day, we want everyone going home safe, no matter what role you're playing in the situation.
Isn't that statistic like 4 out of 5 crashes? I mean, it's something
Mhm.
like truly majority of the crashes are not
Yeah.
people working, which is
Right.
always stands out to me.
Yeah, I
So
think that's right.
Yeah, we're doing this not just for the safety of our own employees or our consultants that help us work, but it's for you guys. We want you guys to be safe. We don't want anyone not to get home at the end of the day. And I think going kind of onto the graphics point of view, my goal has been just to kind of show people visually the statistics and show people in a way that they can easily digest all the information that we put out, because we can put it out in a press release, but I mean, people might not read the whole press release. But if you create like an eye-catching graphic that they can easily see, oh my gosh, 4 out of 5 drivers, like that's crazy, and just kind of making people more aware of some of those statistics, some of that data, because we are privy to data that they aren't either. So I think that's an important part of the job, is to kind of digest that data and then put it out in a way that people can easily understand. People like pictures, so
Yeah, and
Well-
Megan, you're kind of our graphic guru. How are you able to make that look kind of good, or to bring people in? Are you able to make people to make that
Yeah.
visually?
Yeah, so you can use color. I know for Works and Awareness Week, we have a little color palette, orange, of course, some whites and blacks. You use those contrasting colors. You make it aesthetically pleasing, so people are scrolling through their feed and they're like, oh, that looks cool. And then they look at it. So just making sure that it's catching people's attention, that it's easy to read, easy to understand, and just kind of showing some of those statistics in a way that brings home the data that we're trying to show. So I created, at least one of them was a bar graph, and it was just different statistics nationwide. So work zone safety data from 2020, 156 pedestrian fatalities in work zones. That's like a small bar, all the way up to an estimated 102,000 estimated total work zone crashes nationally. So just kind of showing how things go and kind of giving a visual to that data that we're giving them. Like, these are people. So I think that's one thing that all of us want to bring home, is that these are people, and they have families they have to get to, and they're out there doing their job for you to make your commute either just better, more efficient, faster. So I think it's important just to use all of our tools in our toolbox to get that point across.
Sometimes I think showing it graphically in the way that you are kind of adds to like almost the shock value of it. I don't know that shock value is the right word. I mean, because these are real numbers and real people and real crashes, but I think it like grabs your attention to really start thinking about it. When you like you do what you said, you use the colors and bold text, for like the number of crashes, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you can do like black and white for things that are more serious. And I'm creating kind of like a graphic video mix right now that just has a bunch of people in my district specifically saying, "Hi, my name is Megan DeLucine." And then in between all of those, it's facts about how many people that have been killed in work zones. So it's just kind of making it more personable and not just data. And I think that's important.
So in addition to these kind of graphic elements, a lot of these are being shared on social media. Many of us are helping put together events, for media. Some are more internal facing. So let's talk about some of the other things that we're doing. Our team is focused more on the external piece, but we can certainly touch on what we're doing internally for INDOT employees as well.
Sure. I'll start with the media portion. That's what Gary kind of roped me in to talk about. Like you said, I think every district across the state is planning some form of media event. And I think the nice thing about the way that kind of our team is set up is we have kind of that creative ability to do what we want with the event. I know myself personally, I actually kind of did a 180 on what I was planning on doing from my media event. Because I actually came across one of our employees who had been rear-ended in a work zone and interviewed him myself for something that I'm putting on social media, but then got to thinking about it and I was like, oh, you know what? I think he might be really good on TV because he gave a really great interview. And so I reached out, asked, sure enough, he's willing to go on camera with TV stations. So, my event will feature myself to talk about the, importance of National Work Zone Awareness Week. But obviously the real story is going to be our employee Spencer and his experience and why it's so important to pay attention. But with that, I'm also going to highlight the fact that work zone is kind of a loose term. I think when we think about them at first, we think the hard work zone construction areas where you've got the orange barrels and cones and all that kind of thing. But some work zones are moving operations, with flashing arrows on the backs of our trucks and stuff like that. So I think we need to make sure that, we're highlighting that, which is the case of our employee Spencer, who I'm going to be interviewing with stations. But I know some people are doing their events with Indiana State Police. They're going to actual work zones to, maybe show reporters what it's like to stand there in a work zone. It's important, though, to use the media just because we have a great audience. We have a great team that can do all of those kinds of things, but their reach goes even a little bit further. And if we have that awareness through them, I think that's super helpful as well. I used to be a reporter and, would always look forward to this week just because I knew it was going to be some kind of great storytelling to highlight, that work is really taking place now this time of year.
Well,
And that's
the
a good
great
point.
thing, yeah, the great thing to go on to that too is doing this at the beginning of the work season too means that not only does the public have this in their mind, but also when we talk to reporters, talk to the media folks, they have these stories in their back of the mind. So then when we have a closure, a restriction, any of those work zones that we'll have up, they'll know, hey, we should probably do a story about this to let people know. And that kind of helps to make sure that our message gets out there, so that people know what's going on. The thing I always tell people, especially this time of year when the important thing is to know that there's changes to your commute, that there's changes to how you're driving from point A to point B, that there is going to be something. You can't just put it on autopilot and expect everything to be the same. So it's always just to make sure that everyone's informed, right?
Yeah, I think education is the biggest part of this week, is just showing people that these are, again, real people. They have real stories. I've only been with INDOT for a little bit over a year now, and I've heard countless stories of close calls. I've heard things like people have actually like gotten hit, or they were right next to a barrel that got smashed, and like it's statewide. But I think work zone safety goes both ways too, so that includes internally. So we need to make sure our people are doing what they need to do to keep their work zone safe, making sure they're wearing high vis. That's why we do Go Orange Day. We have wristbands this year, which are really exciting. I know a lot of people in my district are excited about it. It's just going both ways to raise awareness and education about, we all need to do our part to keep the work zone safe.
And kind of piggybacking rather off of that, and what both of you, Gary and Megan, have said, by doing these events, with the media, it kind of helps form the relationship. So then you can reach out to, reporter Joe Schmo and be like, hey, can you put this out for me? Can you help me get this out there? Can you share this? So I think that's a really great thing too. But like you said, internally, I know up here in Fort Wayne, my stakeholder services director up here has been working with our safety director to kind of work on a whole internal campaign of messaging and things like that. Because like you said, we need to be safe too, and make sure that our team is doing what they need to do out there in the field as well.
So I wanted to go back a little bit to the education piece that Megan was talking about. Like I've said, we are sharing work zone safety messaging tips year round. So in addition to the slow down through work zones, obey signs in work zones, watch for crews, avoid distractions. We're also sharing a number of resources that INDOT has available to help people plan ahead and know where they can expect work zones. I feel like I say this all the time, you drive the same way to work every day, or, wherever it is you're going. It could look one way one day, and tomorrow it could be completely different. Work crews come in, set up shop for, whatever construction project, whatever maintenance project they're working on. So INDOT has the TrafficWise map and app at 511in.org. It's also available on the App Store. If you search TrafficWise or INDOT, it should come up. So that's an interactive tool. Has lots of filters and layers, different information. Not only does it show current construction projects, so current restrictions, current closures, there's kind of a future filter, so you can turn that on, know what to expect, what's coming. And then also semi-unrelated, we have plow cams for winter ops. I mean, it's helpful year round.
Well, they're active now too.
I was gonna say they're active in work zones. Yeah.
Yes. So you're not necessarily seeing, snow-covered roads, but
unless you're in the northern area, right?
True.
Yes.
True. You may get a look at, what are crews out doing with the yellow trucks, outside of snow and ice removal. So
it's my favorite website I've ever seen.
Well, I was gonna say, I think everybody on our team uses it on a daily basis.
It's
I think I always have it
amazing.
pulled up. So
I push it so much. I'm like, anytime you have a question about it, go to 511. It's probably on there, and it's updated in real time by the contractors too. So it's a very useful tool. It'll have reopening dates, what restrictions are happening. It'll have the detour that you can take. So it's very handy, especially during construction season.
Yeah, like we all say, know before you go. So that's how you know before you go.
Correct.
I've even seen like TV stations up here in Fort Wayne area use our camera feeds from the 511in.org website. Even this morning, and like the meteorologist was using it to do a traffic update and showed that cones have been put out as part of a construction project. So it's helpful there too, circling back, making it full circle back to our media partners.
Yeah, that's another feature to touch on, are the traffic cams. You can access those through the TrafficWise map. Can give you, pretty much a live look at what's happening out there. So, is traffic backed up through this work zone? Is there a crash? traffic
too.
speeds as well.
We can see if it's like there's a crash and it's super backed up to what mile marker to avoid. So I've done that like personally. So it's very helpful.
Yeah, so that's a great tool. Everyone download the app, bookmark that link. Again, that's 511in.org. Fantastic tool. We all use it. We encourage everyone listening to use it too. Get where you need to go safely. Plan ahead.
And I know right now we're writing a ton of press releases. So if you're not already subscribed, I highly recommend. You can get it for your county, you can get it for your region. It's very helpful. I know we try to do it in as much of an advance notice as possible. So if you want to know before you go, that's another good way to get subscribed to our Gov Delivery press release program.
Yep, an easy way to do that is to hop online, alerts.indot.in.gov. That's the link. You can also go to the INDOT website. It's pretty visible there where you can subscribe via email or text, and you can have all of the INDOT news you could ever want to know delivered straight to your inbox. So you're well prepared and know what to expect when you head out onto the roads.
And to kind of jump off of that as well, I always tell people as well to follow our social media pages on Facebook and Twitter. If you're listening to us, one of us probably runs one of those social media pages. And anytime there's something going on, whether it's our closures, if there's a crash we know about, we try to keep you as well informed as possible. Because again, it's like we've been talking about this whole time. It's all about knowing and knowing what's going on your roadways.
Yeah, and social media is a great way. It's one of the platforms that we use to show progress, throughout a construction project. So some cool videos, cool graphics, cool pictures, kind of giving you the inside look, like we've talked about, into those work zones and the projects that are happening. One more tool I did want to mention before we start to wrap up here is INDOT for You. That's INDOT's customer service platform. You can call in at 855 INDOT for You. It's also available online, easy to use portal at indot4u.com. That's the number 4, by the way.
And the letter U.
Yeah, and the letter U. Yes. We love our, I guess, acronyms, if you will, kind of, sort of.
So many acronyms.
Yes, but that's a good way to get information if you have questions or concerns about a work zone or just state roadways in general. You can report potholes, signage concerns, damaged guardrail, anything you come across, even a dead animal on the side of the road, you can report that there, and that'll be routed to the proper personnel, and we'll get that taken care of as soon as possible. So lots of tools out there that we're promoting in addition to the work zone safety tips, to help people prepare and stay safe as we get into the thick of construction season this year. Does anyone else have anything? Lots going on. It's going to be a busy week. It's always an exciting week. Lots of orange, lots of high vis.
Mm-hmm.
Reminder that Wednesday, the 20th, is Go Orange Day. So get your orange out. We'll also accept high vis. So high vis.
If you tag us in your pictures, we'll post them.
Exactly. So looking forward to seeing those, and we invite everyone to participate.
I think one more thing, though, that we need to remind people that I think we've already mentioned is that even though we're just highlighting it this week for National Work Zone Awareness Week, these work zones are going to be around until the end of November. So just pay attention out there and use caution.
Exactly. And some even extend through the winter months, depending on the type of work going on. It's very possible, especially in the southern part of the state where it's a little more mild. So yeah, be prepared, know before you go, stay safe out there.
This has been On the DOT, a production of the Indiana Department of Transportation. For more information, please visit our website at indot.in.gov. For the latest updates on road conditions or construction, you can download our INDOT mobile app for Apple and Android devices. Submit your roadway concerns by calling 1-855-INDOT-FOR-YOU or online at indot4u.com. Find all of that information in the description of this episode. Full episodes of On the DOT are available on YouTube by searching for INDOT. You can also follow INDOT and all 6 of our districts on Facebook and Twitter. If you like what you're hearing, please be sure to leave us a rating on your favorite podcast platform. Join us again every third Thursday for new episodes of On the DOT. Until then, travel safely, and thank you for joining us on the DOT.